Hey, everybody. It is week number 4. So excited you are here. EDUC week 4, 586. I forgot the numbers. Wow. It's been a week. Let's jump in. Very obvious theme this week: connecting, learning, sharing, particularly around social media. The assignment, let's jump right into that one, is creating a professional learning network, PLN. Um, you're just going to follow the bullet points, the arrows. Make sure to do assignment 1, part 1, and part 2. You're going to connect with people on Twitter, as my mom calls it, the Twitters. I think she still might do that. Yeah, you're going to find people, find some hashtags that'll curate some content for you, find a Twitter chat, um, and connect, have a chat. There's resources to all the things. If you've been on Twitter for a while, like I have, this one should be pretty straightforward. If you're new to it, this is a strange time to be joining Twitter. It's changed profoundly in the last 6 months. Um, yeah, more on that later. But just follow the steps. The idea about it. No, you know what? Let's jump into it right now. Um, Educators on Twitter are not as excited about Twitter as they once were. It used to be a place where it was kind of a self-defining group, right? Like if you were a teacher on Twitter, you were a certain type of educator like 10 years ago. Um, yeah, about that long, I think. No, more than that. Maybe 15 years ago. Doesn't matter too much, but then again, I guess it does to some extent. Right? It was like this self-organizing group where like you were interested in getting on this thing called social media to see if you could connect with other educators. And for me at the time, when did I join? I'm not logged in on this one. Let me switch over to the Twitters. Um, Back in the day, let's go to my profile, twitter.com/Bill Selleck. Of course, I don't even see where my profile is under accounts. Nope, that's how to add accounts. See, even this is strange. Do I have to just type it in? Um, I joined May 2008. So for me, yeah, it's been 15 years since I've joined the Twitters. Um, and back then, I was trying to do innovative stuff in my classroom with technology, trying to do more student centered things, less worksheet driven things. Was mostly teaching second grade at the time. And there weren't people at my school that were trying to do a similar thing. Um, there weren't a lot of people nearby trying to do things, but then there's this little pocket of the internet called Twitter where educators were finding each other and sharing innovative things they were doing. So pretty quickly, for those of us in the early days, it became this community of people trying to do rad things with technology in their classrooms at a really interesting time. And that's changed dramatically now. But I think the upside of that is once you kind of figure out how Twitter works, the nuts and bolts of it, if you are new to it, um, this is getting copy and pasted into nearly every other platform. In the last week, I think, um, Meta, Facebook, has released Threads, which is nearly identical to Twitter, only it's owned by Meta and not Twitter. Um, and so the idea that you can post and reshare a thing, you can find each other. I think just more and more platforms are going to do this type of thing. And Meta does this again and again and again. The way Instagram has dramatically changed from actually a photo sharing place to grabbing some of the best parts of Snapchat. Like I was really into Snapchat when it first came out, found amazing educators through Snapchat, was on it multiple times throughout the day, sharing my learning. Every 24 hours, your feed would refresh. So it only showed the latest 24 hours of what you were doing. Like that was unique to Snapchat. Now that exists almost everywhere, including LinkedIn. You can post a story. That's most of what Instagram is these days, is posting to your story. But for a while, that was only Snapchat. And now TikTok's been around for a while. There's some pretty serious privacy concerns that I continue to have with that. So I have an account, but I'm not on it. But a lot of the greatest parts are either being just directly reshared in Instagram or that style is being copied within the app. So even, if in a week Twitter just crashes and goes away, which actually is a possibility with the staffing reductions. Um, the ideas and the learnings and the lessons are already being copy and pasted into Meta's version called Threads. Um, LinkedIn is becoming a version of that, and is, I think, going to just become more and more like Twitter is. So even if you're kind of like, what would my kids say? Like, look at it and you're just like, yuck. It's like, stick with it for this assignment. And the idea of it is being replicated across multiple platforms. Um, so that said, the assignment is Twitter specific. Your um, discussion board is specific around using a Twitter hashtag, and what you found, who you found on it. I've already seen a couple people posting super early, sharing about Catelyn Tucker. She's an amazing human, just up the road from me in the North Bay. Really good human. Someone else shared out Casey Bell. She's sharing stuff very loudly still has some work to do around being more inclusive, um, but she has some amazing resources for sure. Those two are some great people. Also, on if we jump to the week 4 content, it's really specific, looking at finding people, finding places to connect, looking at Q, looking at Orange County Department of Ed, the OCDE. There's what else down towards the bottom, Jennifer Gonzalez and the Cult of Pedagogy. She puts out great content, isn't great about connecting with other people. I saw something in there with Jen Wagner with Projects by Jen. She's a phenomenal human, really good heart, and just so generous. So, like, if you're looking for one person to share, for sure, like, jump in with that. The last thing, and I'm going to wrap up our video with this, is I just spent last Friday and Saturday at the NAMELY conference, the National Association of Media Literacy Education, and it was amazing. So good. I was co-chair of the conference, so I'm heavily biased, but it was amazing. It was all on Zoom to try and be more inclusive. So there were people in sessions in South Africa, in Australia. Someone's like, "Hi, it's tomorrow for me. It's 2 a.m. for the keynote." And we're just like, "Oh my gosh!" Um, Over like in the West Pacific, just kind of it was amazing. And then obviously across kind of the time zones of the U.S. So if you don't know quite where to start and you're just like, NAMELY 23, NAMLE 23, you'll find a lot of resources. A lot of people are chatting just in Zoom, so it wasn't heavily curated on the Twitters, but amazing. I also loved in particular that all the students that we had were keynotes, and all the keynotes we had were students. I think a lot of people talk about student voice and amplifying student voice, and this is one example where we did that, and the students were amazing and inspiring, and our future is bright with these students and these humans, these young humans that are already amazing leaders. So check out that hashtag. Reach out as you have questions. Happy week 4, and happy July, everybody.